Hello, Holly Area School staff. This is Peter Lofiego with a screencast recording of how to use the new facility scheduling system that we are deploying for the 2016-2017 school year. As before, you will recognize this system because it has been integrated within the Maintenance Direct system where we would put work orders into SchoolDude. So from any of the various school pages, you can click under Staff, and a new option that has been added is Facility Scheduling. The Maintenance Request tab also remains. You can log into either one of those, and they will take you to the same location. There will be some differences, obviously, as you make requests in the system, and I will talk about those as I go through this screencast. So for these purposes, we're going to click on Facility Scheduling. That will take you to and open a new tab that will look like this. You will notice that this is different than the past. This will be the same for both Facility Scheduling and for Maintenance Direct, as they have now created a password interface system that requires you to log in, which you see over here called your requester role. Everyone on staff is now called a requester, in the idea that you're either making a maintenance request or you will be making a schedule request. So in this case, for everyone in the system, your email address has been set up. Note this is your new email address minus the hyphen. So as you can see on my computer, the old system is using my old default password here. So make sure you leave the hyphen out. Put your password in. Everyone's password will be defaulted to new user, NEWUSER. And you will go through a prompt to change your password once you sign in. For the purposes of this demonstration, I've already done that using one of the teachers at the high school as an example. So you'll go through the prompts and you will end up back at a screen that should look extremely familiar to everyone. What I want to acknowledge is that you will still see the IT request tab. We have changed the password requirement to the IT request tab. This tab will be disappearing at some point in time in the near future, as all IT requests, and I'll just birdwalk from this for a second, all IT requests are listed under Staff Technology Service Requests that you see down here by the mouse. Sorry that was a birdwalk. As a reminder, we're logging into Maintenance Direct, Facility Scheduling Direct, and we're at this screen. As I said before, this will look very familiar to everyone. You will notice this from our help desk. SchoolDude, various options, all of the information. Holly1 is the password, still remains at this time. For our purposes, we're talking about a schedule request. So you'll click on the schedule request tab and you'll see that there are three different schedules. Normal schedule, within that normal schedule, it's typically schedules that are going to occur within the same room. They can be multiple dates. So like at the high school, as an example, you might be reserving one of the computer labs. Let's say it's mobile cart 1, and you want that mobile cart to be reserved Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a certain hour. If you wanted that same cart to be reserved for a certain length of time or different hours of the day. For our secondary folks, you may have, you want to use it for a certain class, and that class may be second period or fifth period. For our elementary folks, maybe you want to use it for a science experiment in the morning and some English work in the afternoon. At that point, you would choose an irregular schedule. I'm not going to go over every single one for this Screen-O-Matic cast. I am only going to go over a normal schedule request. I will follow this series up with other videos that will talk about regular schedules and irregular schedules. So we'll simply click on normal schedule. When you get in there, and again, I want to thank Brittany Jakubik for allowing me to use her as a guinea pig for this video. As you come into the system, you'll see it's got your booking information here. Give your event a title. Brittany happens to run our Spanish National Honor Society. So we're going to use this as a availability check for a Spanish National Honor Society meeting. And so we'll just put meeting number 1. And for our purposes, we're going to have Brittany reserve the Kiva. I use the Kiva specifically because the way the system works, part of the learning curve will be to understand how some of the rooms in all of your various buildings are coded. So in this case, under area, standard, auditorium, band room, baseball fields, cafeteria. For the most part, if you're looking for a classroom, you would select classrooms, and then all the various classrooms are located. You could do a computer lab, you could do a conference room. Within each of these, the system has recorded it to give you multiple options. So I'll start with a classroom. So if I choose classroom as an area, and my location is Holly Senior High School, it will populate the various classrooms that you see across the high school. If I were to choose a multi-purpose room, again, at Holly High School, I would get some of our project rooms or some of our larger checkout rooms that are in the building. Within each of your buildings, you will have different rooms that are available and different ways that those rooms are coded. If we go media center, you can see that there's a media center in each of our buildings. So again, if I were wanting to make a request for the Holly Middle School Media Center, I could do that, and it would show me IMC. The beauty of this is for all of our staff, you have the availability through this system to make a request to any room in any building within the Holly Area School District. And the way that system operates behind the scenes is we've created routings for emails and requests to go to the individuals who are in charge in each of the buildings. So in this case, going back to Brittany's request, she's going to request a multi-purpose room, which is at the high school, and she's requesting the Kiva. For this exercise, we're going to say that she would like to use that on the 23rd of September. A nice function that's built into this system is this little check availability button. You'll see it down here. The check availability button will bring up a pop-up, and you'll see it here. And then what it's going to say is, here is Holly Senior High School, here is the Kiva. If the time slot is booked, there will be an X. If the time slot has multiple bookings, which there's a very few ways in which that can happen, so you won't see the red X very much, but you will notice that here. The white areas show availability of the room that occurred during school hours. So in this case, you would be able to see that, yes, this indeed is available at the time requested. So because of that, I'm going to say, okay, I want to select this room, and in theory, this should also kind of guarantee my reservation, barring on something unforeseen in the system. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put my start time. Let's say we're going to meet after school. So I'm going to say I want to meet at 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. You'll notice that you can also give a setup and teardown time or breakdown time. So if you needed an hour ahead of time to set the room up and an hour ahead of time or afterwards to tear the room down, you can acknowledge that by here. It tells you that this is 1 hour long over 1 day. Again, you can check the availability again, now specifically based on the time. So again, it's going to bring up that same window. It's going to show it in 30-minute increments now because that's what I've selected in my options above. And you can see that my time here in yellow shows that the date range and the selected time at this point are available. At this point, if I belong to an organization, which in this case, you all belong to your respective buildings. So since Brittany in this example is a member of the high school staff, I'm going to choose Holly High School staff. You will notice that it will fill in a billing address. The email, I think this is more of my system prompting me, but if you want to be contacted, you can simply put your name in here. So Brittany can choose to put her name in and she can enter her email. And by entering her email, you're getting some of my various pop-ups and fill-ins from this site. By entering her email, she will get a confirmation when this is scheduled. Phone numbers for staff really are not needed. This also is a universal form that will be used by our external requesters as well. She can request, or you can request, side note, staff, you do not need to worry about this insurance information at all, so just bypass this, please. She can request certain setup. So let's say, for the event setup, she would like the tables set up in rows of 5, whatever. Now, the reason that this is important is because the main reason we've gone to the School Dude system is that all of these requests that are being put in and all of the setup requirements and teardown requirements are all now routed through the maintenance staff. So instead of as before, where the maintenance staff had to go out, check a calendar, see what information was put into the system, now they will see the specific information that you have put in as part of your setup, so that those requests can be met as specifically as possible. Number of attending for this purpose, again, let's just say 25. It's going to be 2 adults and 23, children, students. Extra chairs, parking spaces, any other needs that you might have. You'll notice this here, event visibility. This will always be defaulted to no. This system is also going to default as our public calendar for the district. And if you had an event like, let's say, you were having a meet and greet at Holly Elementary, on September 1st, you could, as this setup for a certain classroom or a certain way you wanted it set up, you could put down that you want this to show on the district calendar as a public event. For the most part, what you are doing, staff, district-wide, I would imagine very few times will you display public events, but there are options. If you had a file to attach, like a certain layout for the room, you could just click Add New File, and it would attach, just like an email attaches. And obviously, you would attach the file, choose Submit, and then it would show up here as an attachment. And the submittal password is the same that it has been in the past, Holly1. You would then click Save, as you see here, and it would go to the calendaring system. Now, as this is a setup for my purposes as an example, I'm not going to click Save here. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to show you the calendar functions, and you can see them here. The calendar, this link will be on our website, and you will be able to see these various events that are now taking place throughout the district. Obviously, this calendar will get very large once all of the events are on here. So I'll follow that up with how to use this calendaring feature to narrow down your events. So that's a 15-minute walkthrough of how to request a facility district-wide. Thank you.